I've seen a couple of these videos pop up while I'm perusing the YouTube. What no one tells you about Japan, they say. Apparently, Mr. Crispy Broad here had so many things that no one tells you about Japan, he had to do a repackaging of a 3-year-old video. You know, this is the sign of a great YouTuber. In the event of a content drought, you find an old video that has done well, and you add to it in the same packaging. Very nice! So while they all are telling you what no one tells you about Japan, which is kind of paradoxical to me, because now they have told you already, I'm going through a plethora, yes I like that word, of things that no one tells you about Japan, but already have, and maybe where they're wrong. So here we go. Japan is so high-tech, they tell you, and they want to preserve the illusion of that. You see, Japan has always had a knack for conserving the old and promoting the new, just like in the hit movie The Last Samurai. You know, where they're trying to fight guns with samurai swords, the little katanas. Seems like someone missed the whole don't bring a knife to a gunfight thing, but, you know, it is the way it is. Nowadays, though, they have hidden shrines located amongst the skyscrapers and neon lights reminiscent of Blade Runner, and a patriarchal business model that puts Don Draper and 1960s USA to shame. Wanna do some online banking? Tough titties. You have to send a fax to inform them and bring literal paper for everything, and then reread it a bunch of times in case you did it wrong, so you have to do it all over again with the paperwork. And then you gotta sit in a building with tons of people for 5 hours just to make a simple account transfer. But hey, at least there are robots serving you sushi and shabu shabu, as well as cat girls serving you drinks at hostess bars. Hell yeah. Balance, baby. Fruit is very expensive for no reason in Japan. You like to eat some watermelon to cool off while you're hot in the summer? Prepare to really pay an extreme amount for it, to the point where you only want to buy some lemons if you feel the scurvy coming on. The funny thing is that vegetables are actually pretty cheap unless you're trying to buy some out-of-season stuff. One single avocado can go for like 400 yen outside of season, but in season you can get it for like 180 yen, and they will be soft and supple and nice, whereas the 400 ones out of season will be literally fucking hard. But for fruits though, like everything from strawberries to pineapple and bananas, will cost you an arm and a leg. I'm serious, and it's kind of fucked up. You can avoid this though by buying like the pre-cut smaller portion of them while they are, 50% off at the end of the evening. But the only way I found to, get around all this and actually get some fruit in here is to buy the frozen pouches of smoothie, mixes, blueberries and strawberries and all that, because the frozen ones are actually hella cheap, and you don't have to be a rich son of a bitch to get them. It must have something to do with like the local fruit farmers charging a lot for it, as well as, importing of fruit costs a bunch, but I don't know, we import a lot of fruit in Norway, and it's cheaper fruit in Norway than it is in Japan, so I don't know. But anyways, for this price though, I'd, rather take the scurvy. Another thing that no one tells you about Japan is that, Japanese food isn't really healthy. And you hear a lot of people saying it is. Yes, some dishes are healthy, just like in every culture and country in the goddamn world, but a lot of it here is just horrible for you. Fried chicken, fried mashed potatoes in the form of a korokke, ramen with more salt than the sea and more fat than nikocado avocado, and all the carbs you can shove into your food hole. The Japanese diet consists primarily of carbs and fat with a little bit of protein, which, I attribute to my weight gain here, because big boy don't really handle carbs all that well. And this is the reason I am a portly fellow. But I'm serious about them loving carbs here. You ever heard of soba meshi? It's literally yakisoba and chahan, Japanese fried rice, mixed together on the teppan. I'm all for some carb on carb action. It's delicious. You ever had fries with a sandwich, French fries and a little BLT or a chicken club? You know what I'm talking about. Delicious. But having to have rice with everything, even if it's another simple carbohydrate, cannot be good for you. That plus a lot of fried foods, Japanese hambagu, which is like 50% fat anyways, and tempura, which you think is healthy fried shit, but it's actually not. All of this will not be cancelled out by that one expensive sashimi dinner you had. Cause you definitely ate it with a side of rice, not just a fish. I see you. Because you are like me. No one tells you that people either want to talk to you in English or not at all. This is kind of weird. Some people on YouTube like to say that the Japanese people are avoidant when it comes to using English, and this is kind of 50-50 for me actually. Usually if I go mainichi mayonnaise tenetskete shikoterunda, people just freeze, leave, or switch to English. It seems to me that the people who are avoiding English are the ones that have either no interest in it or no skill in it. Many times I can see that cashiers utter relief when I reply back in Japanese. It's like, oh shit. Oh my god, I thought I had to use English. Jesus Christ, arigatou gozaimasu. At the izakaya though, you get a lot of hey man, yo man, fuck man, and people with the aid of alcohol who don't really give a shit if they're saying anything properly or not. Hello, I am Tanaka. I like cock. You know, like chicken, but man. It's great. No one tells you that the awful working culture is exaggerated, because it sometimes is. Look, there's a stereotype for a reason. Japan is overworked and it shows, but not all companies are like this in Japan. It's not all of them. Hello? There are websites now with lists of so-called black companies, which means like basically shitty companies that force you to do a hell of a lot of overwork for no overtime pay. So you can avoid their shitty working conditions. You don't have to work there if you know it's gonna be shitty from the get-go. People can even leave anonymous reviews there, which, you know, by Japanese law, you can get in trouble for defamation even if what you're saying is true. That's kind of fucked up, isn't it? Your boss can bang his secretary despite being married. You snap a photo of it and you tell your coworkers, boom, you defamed him. Even though he did it, so he kind of defamed himself, but you defamed him more by speaking the truth. It's so fucked up. What is this, Narnia? Is this opposite land? I don't know. Anyways, you can avoid horny bosses and horrid working conditions by seeing if it's a black company online, and then you're all good. Even if they offer you the job, you check it out, they're a black company, but don't be like, oh, but it's my ticket into Japan, because they will cancel the shit out of your visa if you try to leave, and then you're fucked. Goodbye. So make sure your new company is not a, black company and you're good. But you can't really avoid a 5 times a week nomikai with your divorced boss who just likes to drink all the time, because culture. So better tighten up that liver, son. No one tells you that some alcoholic drinks here are just downright weird. We all know beer, sake, and its more powerful cousin, shochu. But Japan really has some weird drinks. Happoshu comes to mind, which literally translates to fake alcohol. Usually this comes in like a beer form where they just mix some sparkling water, some shochu, and some beer syrup, and there you go. You get the beer vibe for 20% of the cost of a regular beer. They taste kind of great though, some of them. I really like the Honkirin Happoshu, the 6% fake beer-like beverage. It's really good and it gets the job done. It gets you where you need to be, but it can't really beat out a nice, real creamy beer. I've also seen people do the strong 0.9% thing and mix it 50-50 with like 25% shochu in a strong concoction that will definitely knock you on your ass after you had a couple. Believe me, I tried and I was hungover for a week. So like the first 3 days, it's what I imagine being on chemo would be like. I literally need to be in bed for those 3 days. And then the remainder of the week, headaches, lethargic, just fucking ass. It's not worth it. But that one day, you can get super fucked up for like 500 yen if you do that, so pro tip. Another thing is that outside seating or outdoor seating at restaurants and pubs is very rare. I'm one of those people who love to slap on my shades and sit outside for some beers with friends, In most European countries, we do that. There's always been like outdoor seating opportunities if there's a weather for it. Everywhere I've gone in Europe. You know how nice it is to go to Italy, have your dinner outside in the narrow streets, and then just do drinks and dessert at the same table. You can just be sitting there outside and then it cools off during the summer and the breeze comes in, when the sun goes down. It's so nice. Why we don't have this in Japan? Every single restaurant and izakaya is usually just a hole in the wall, and sometimes they don't even have windows because, you like to sit very sheltered and get fucked up. That's just the way it is. This is actually one of the things I dislike about Japan, since I just love drinking outdoors. And the only way to do that in Japan is to wait for the weather to be nice and go on a picnic out, under a cherry blossom tree or whatever. Do a little hanami, But there aren't any waiters or draft beer there, or even a toilet, so it's kinda eh. I just gotta tell you that half of the year here in Japan is insect bonanza. Right now spring is in full bloom, and summer is right around the corner. That means 11,000 different species of insects will be invading every street and every house. Fun! Mosquitoes, kamemushi, which smells like cut grass when they get scared. So, when you pick them up to put them outside, it smells like somebody mowed their lawn. Kind of weird, it's like a Pokemon. And those goddamn loud cicadas. Oh my god. The week it takes to get used to the constant is just literal hell. Also, don't forget about the gigantic Japanese hornets that live here, which looks like something you'd pull out of an Australian bush. And apparently if they sting you, they inject like a pheromone. So the entire hive of like this huge fucking hornets, they all come like 1,000 and sting you to death. It's kind of crazy. It's like 5 deaths a year. It's literally from the Japanese giant hornet. What a way to go, man. Holy shit. And don't get me started on the cockroaches and the mukade. Now, mukade is just horrible. It's a centipede. I cannot stand centipedes. I turn into a 6-year-old schoolgirl if I see a centipede. No joke. They usually hunt in pairs, you know, like male and female together. Very cute, very nice. So you'll always, if you find one in your house, there's one other creeping around and you don't know where it is. Good luck sleeping. And the fun part is they can crawl out of your kitchen sink through the plumbing or, you know, the sink in the toilet if you don't clean it well enough. They'll start eating their way up and suddenly they're there. And they're pretty big too. Man, just listing all of this insect shit makes me want to sit inside until November, which I'm not gonna lie, I probably would have done. But I have content to make in and around Japan for you guys. So that's coming up later this year. I'm going to be frank with you here, even though my name is Emil. You will see some weird t-shirt logos or, you know, names of products here in Japan. Japan has this weird relationship with English. They have something called decorative English, where the words and meaning don't really matter as long as it looks nice. And that makes for some interesting signs and t-shirts. Beauty dies in LSD orgy after sex with 100 men, or crap your hands. My personal favorites has to be how depressing and he loves the cock matching t-shirts. I just know I'm getting this t-shirt for my future child. How can you not rock with this? This is awesome. Signs are not immune to this as well, so you do get thanked for your habitual drinking and warned not to take a bath if you overdid it. Japan's got your back. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more Japan content like this, you know, please subscribe down there and click like on your way up to help out the channel. Please, man. Come on, man. And then go down on me again and check out the Patreon and the YouTube memberships. If you want to support the channel and make a difference in how I make the content, you know, check it out, check it out. Also want to give a special thanks to all current members and patrons. I really appreciate you guys' help. And, you know, you really make a difference, as all funding will be used to enhance the content and let me show you more of Japan. So love you guys. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye.